Let's discuss what helps me to stitch faster and have faster results on the wall for full coverage cross-stitching. Hi, my name is Olesya and I love cross-stitching. My average cross-stitching speed is about 400 cross-stitches in an hour for not a very difficult areas where we have about 30 colors. For half stitches it's probably about 500-600 per hour. The first rule to stitch faster would be to select the right approach. For me, the right approach is to stitch in a designated area and cut the thread if it goes to the connected area for more than 5 cross stitches. Let me show what I mean. For example, in this area I have just one square down in this color, so I will move my area a little bit down. This I won't take for this time just because it's more than 5 squares in the area. So let's have a look on the second example. This one is a perfect example where I don't need to do anything and all the squares in the same area. And you might ask why it helps. Why not to go further with the same thread and just finish the thread? So in such case you don't need to park it somewhere on needle keeper or whatever. So for me that's the reason. In such area like this one, it's very difficult to find a right place where I need to stitch. This particular example is a leftover from previous approaches which I tried and they didn't work for me as good as I hoped. And right now when I stitch in such areas which have this spread of already stitched stitches, I feel like my stitching speed is much slower than usual. This area where I already started this new approach and it works for me perfectly well. What's the difference? I take only 5 big squares on horizontal level and 2 squares on vertical level. So in such case I know that I need to look at this area and it doesn't go somewhere else, and I don't need to spend too much time to find the right place for a stitch. The second question you might have that why just 5 squares I still move to another area. In such case I feel that if it's more than 5 stitches it makes sense to take the same thread again, the same needle. Less than 5 probably it doesn't worth to take it again and move it back to the needle keeper. And in such approach it's much easier to avoid straight visible lines between the areas and do not have visible rows on the finished project. For every rule there is an exception. In my case it will be that if I have too short thread and it doesn't make any sense to cut it. So in such case I will move my area and finish the thread for as many stitches as it will go. So let's see one more example. In such area I have 2 stitches on the left and 1 stitch on the bottom. So in such case I can move my area and stitch both of them just because in both areas it's less than 5 squares to stitch. And just worth to mention that for visibility I add parking mark to my corner of the area, so it's easier to find every time when I need to move area there and back. That's pretty much it about this approach and I hope you find it helpful. Let me know in comments if you stitch with another approach and you feel that it's faster on a long run. I'm always happy to try something new. More videos on the same topic I'm going to have pretty much soon on the same channel.